Aloha, welcome back to Aina Bear Farm. It's a gorgeous day in late November. I wanted to post a quick update for how our pasture conversion to food forest is going. So as I pan around, you can tell it doesn't look too different to the initial scan. But as we get down there and start walking around, I think you'll notice there's quite a few fun updates. And if you look really closely, you can see little pieces of pasture carved out for paths and openings for trees. And we've actually been doing a lot of work, so this will be a really cool update. Alright, so we'll head out on the first path and show you what we got in the ground so far. So as we first enter the entrance to the food forest, we've got our satsuma. It's doing really well. We've planted a little cover crop. I'll try to move so we can see, of sun hemp. That's a crotalaria. So that'll be fixing nitrogen, adding some biomass. We'll do a chop and drop with that. Here's our good looking satsuma with all kinds of new growth on it. Tried to put on fruit this first year and flowers, and I just picked the flowers once they were about to set fruit to encourage more tree growth in its early days. If I pan around, you can see good old comfrey and all-star permaculture plants. It's kind of a mess over here. We've got in some makeshift fencing to keep the pigs out, but got a little banana circle in there with some kabocha squash running out of the compost there. Productive mess. As I pan around the other way, I see a little bit of color out here in the red hibiscus, and that's fully edible. As you might be able to tell, insects really like it. I'll head back up the path here. Just kind of want to show off a little bit of the diversity in these tree areas. We've got flowers, that's pentas, red tea, there's aster. There, buried under here is turmeric, should be coming up soon. Got a little yarrow, some more of the sun hemp. This little guy is katuk. A really nice edible plant. The leaves are edible. You just get constant greens off it, a little bit like moringa. Not in flavor, but in terms of how it produces. And a good shade tolerant plant. Right up the hill there, got monkey pod. That's another nitrogen fixer we've got in there. And this here is Lucky. Lucky's our farm cat. She shows up and rids us of the mice and rats, and all she asks in return is lots of affection. I've got Mexican sunflower coming up here. So again, another pollinator-friendly plant. Give us some biomass. As we head down the path, come across first of two jabuticaba, Brazilian tree grape that we've got planted. You can see this is another form of crotalaria that grows wild in this area, just right next to it. So I just constantly chop and drop. And then next to it you can see the sun hemp crotalaria that we planted. As you can see, the path looking nice and clear. The pigs come out every once in a while and dig it back up for me. It doesn't bother me when they do that. It does bother me when they dig up my seedling trees. But, here we've got Gliricidia, and so this is planted here and there. A really fast-growing nitrogen tree, sometimes referred to as quick stick in the tropics. Makes a really good living fence, and so we're actually planning on planting it all around the fence line to help keep the pigs out. There's our other jabuticaba, a little bit smaller, but doing well. Head further down the path, and little nooks here I've got tucked away. There's some more turmeric that should come up there. As we keep going, here's a little pigeon pea that's just popped up on the little mini berm on the downside of the path. So we've seeded that throughout as well. Here's an avocado. Let's see. This is the Fujikawa. Oh no, this is Kahaluu avocado. And I can't remember off the top of my head. I got 2 avocados recently, one that bears in the fall and one that bears in the spring. And right now we have 2 older avocados on the property that bear for a very long summer, so we're still getting some off of those. The goal is to, for a while, have year-round avocados, and then the other component or factor to planting new ones is that the other ones are getting really old, and by the time they slow down in production and stop in production, hopefully these new ones that I planted will be up and running. Avocados. This is a Rollinia, and Rollinia I tried for the first time maybe a month back, and just maybe my all-time favorite fruit. I don't know, everybody's got their own different taste, but I just love this fruit. It's in the same family as pawpaw, like the custard apple, and looks almost identical to the pawpaw at this point that we grew back in Elderbear Farm in Maryland, so that's kind of cool. I'm excited about having that. So aside from the main paths that I've dug out with the Matic X, we also have some that are just cut with a little bushwhacker, weed whacker attachment. Up the hill there's a Milo tree. We'll get a good closer look at that in a minute, but that's a canoe plant, one that was brought here by the original Hawaiians. Really good lumber. They make bowls and tool handles and things like that out of it. Really good hard lumber, really pretty. Here's a black sapote, a chocolate pudding fruit. And a little seedling on our main path here. And then, yeah, hi Lucky. Yeah. And this is a dwarf Zeman jackfruit. So we're pretty excited about that. It puts out smaller sized jackfruits that won't kill you when they fall out of the tree. It's supposed to be really tasty. And so one of the things, it might be a little hard to tell from the video, but I've sort of triangulated the planting of this. We're on a hill. That downhill is north. So it's kind of an odd challenge for me. But I've got the Zeman jackfruit here, which is a dwarf tree, so it's not going to get huge. As you pan over and back a little bit, the next tree down on the same side of the path is the Rollinia that we talked about a moment ago. So if I pan around to where I am on the path, and I go back directly in between the dwarf Zeman and the Rollinia is that black sapote, which is uphill. It's obviously uphill on the south side. You have to factor in how much shade it's going to cast. And because we're in the tropics, the sun doesn't move an extraordinary amount, but I am actually surprised that it moves as much as it does. As we head further out, I'll show you a little bit more of where we are. I don't have an official path cut here, but this is just my kind of daily walking path as I come through to check on things. So as we head up the hill, we're slowly putting a few little flowers in place here along the path. Got our mango, which is doing really, really well. This is a Raposa mango that is supposed to be a little bit resistant to some of the funguses that attack mangoes in this area from all the rain. And this is that central area that you may have seen in previous videos that we're trying to keep a little bit open. Now as we head out towards the gulch there, I'm not going to go all the way out there in this video because I want to keep it a little bit short, but we have planted koa trees, Milo, standard jackfruit, which gets really big, 2 achicharu, which is related to the mangosteen. I've never actually had a chicharu, but I love mangosteen, so I can imagine it's really delicious. And I've heard good things, so I planted a couple of those out there. We've got the ulu, the breadfruit tree, and several macnut trees out there as well. And as you get closer to the gulch, that'll be more of our zone 5, where the koa will kind of mark the boundary, and behind the koa we'll let it fill in with some wild stuff and some bamboo. As I pan back towards the house, and back towards more of like our zone 2 and 3. We've got another very official looking path cut going back in the direction. So this is parallel to the one we just came up. To the north side, downhill, we've got a couple of mac nuts seedlings. Got these from a neighbor, and in several spots throughout the property we planted 4 to see which ones would survive first and then which ones would do the best. So here you've got 2 survivors, both doing pretty good. As we keep heading down the path, we'll go check out the Milo that I talked about. So Milo is a beautiful tree. It's also called Portia, I believe. You can see the barbed wire over that, just to try to keep the pigs from digging it out. But yeah, beautiful leaf shape with the heart leaves, beautiful flowers, beautiful tree shape to it. I just really love that plant. I'm excited about having it here. Right uphill on the south side, we had planted a rambutan, and the pigs came and dug it up immediately. And so even though we had this little protection in here, all that's left is this really sad dead stick. And then this is a spot where the pigs are coming up under the barbed wire fence. And so one of my strategies here is I planted a nitrogen fixing bush that grows really fast. So we'll see who wins, the bush or the pigs. But eventually we're gonna have to shore up this fence because they're driving me bonkers. As you head down the path, we've got soursop. Grew these from seed, and so far at least it seems to be a very easy plant to grow from seed. We've got a bunch of seedlings. Soursop also in that Chirimoya, Rollinia, same family, and just really tasty, super sour, like a Jolly Rancher. But we're excited about that. We put this in a little bit of a wet spot, as they tend to do well in spots like that. Heading back that way, no official path yet. Just been cleared out with the weed whacker, bushwhacker, to get ready to dig that path. So pan back the other way, you can see the official path. So yeah, we'll head back towards where we started, cut through, going downhill now, past a couple more macnut seedlings. We're doing okay. Back to this path. Head back. Okay, so this is just one more path that I wanted to show you. This is downhill from the other 2 paths. One of the first plants we come across is an ice cream bean, a good nitrogen fixer with the tasty seed pods. Excited about that. As we come up under the shade of our old mountain apple, that's the mountain apple there. You've seen our original tour, you may have seen the fruit on that. We've stuck a little Monstera deliciosa under there. So that's just another really good fruit producing, like, it's kind of, to me, is one of the ultimate like tropical looking plants. Sometimes called the Swiss cheese plant for all the holes in the leaves. Head back towards the ice cream bean, and we'll wrap up our tour as we head down this other path. One of the first plants we come across is longan, or longan. Very tasty little fruits, like a lychee. A little bit different flavor. People are kind of either or on what their favorite is. As we head down this path, we've got another black sapote down here lower on the hill. And finally, right up tucked in here, we've got one more Rollinia downhill from the other Rollinia. Can't wait for those to fruit. 2 or 3 years is what I hear. I'm excited about that. So further down the hill, we let's see, we've got ulu, another breadfruit, a traditional Tahitian breadfruit. We've got ice cream bean, another avocado, some Milo, we've got starfruit, macnut, mango, a few other things that are just hidden out there in the pasture. So next time, hopefully we'll see even more updates. At this point, I want to let these trees get up a little bit, continue with our path, trailblazing, and start tucking a few understory things in, supporting plants. Once they get up high enough, we'll come back with coffee, more katuk, more turmeric, ginger, things like that we can really tuck into the shadier spots. We'll just work our way towards the gulch out there. Planting, digging. So thanks so much for coming along with the little update tour. And I look forward to seeing you back here at I Know